Yeah, but I
Cool.
usually try to avoid caffeine when I can.
That's a blessing. Don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I know. I get it. It's My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. Subscribe on all podcast platforms. I don't care how you listen to me, as long as you're listening to me. And make sure you follow me. Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's Peter_A. And you can follow the show as well. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at MLU Pod. And I'm on YouTube as well. Just search My Little Underground. And I'm all there in bite-sized form. Today is another one of these kind of music talking points kind of shows because we had Sheila B on from Sophisticated Boom Boom. We talked all things music, hot takes, and pop music. And today I have a very, very special guest, Miss Nora Kelly.
Hi.
Yeah. And I think you have a lot to say about this thing we call music, this thing of ours.
Word.
And, you know, I've been thinking for a while now just how people discover music. And I know how I do it, and it just comes easy for me. But because when I find a band or artist or whatever, and then I answer the question, what are you listening to? I always get met with this weird face. Like, what is that? Who is that? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to find out how people discover music and just kind of how your tastes have evolved over the years. And one aspect of music listenership that always kind of perplexed me were musical phases. A lot of people say that they've gone through certain phases and they've grown out of certain things. So do you feel like you've been or have been involved in any kind of music phases throughout your life of music listenershipness?
I have to say first, this is my favorite topic. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've gone through 1,010 phases.
Yep.
But I think it's specific to a person because, like, I think music is a fundamental part of my life. Like, I think I remember, like, memories in music and, like, things that are reminiscent to, like, songs. And, like, it's the foundation of kind of, like, my life in a story, right? And some people aren't like that. So, like, yeah, some people, like, had phases because, like, what was popular, right? Like, grunge in the 90s was so popular. But, like, did a lot of those people, were they grunge? Like, no. Like, that, they were fed that. But I think people like us, like, authenticity of, like, how we experience the world, we, like, have phases because it's, like, part of our story, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up, like, my dad is, like, classic rock, 110%, right? So I grew up with, like, a lot of that. And then my mom had phases of music, right? So, like, I experienced that. So she liked country for a while, but, like, we were, like, old school country, right? Like, Garth Brooks country and, you know, Johnny Cash and a lot of, like, Southern rock. My parents were really into Southern rock once, like, wild. And then it just, like, developed into me and, like, snowballed from that. So, like, I always liked punk rock. I always liked grunge and punk and all that, and from, like, a young age. So, like, the first time I remember, like, hearing music, seeing a music video, and, like, feeling inspired was, like, Blink-182, specifically the Feeling This music video. And then I think that built into me to, like, our phase, that our generation of emo, right? And then, yeah, like, grew from there. I'm from Minneapolis, so, like, the underground hip-hop scene is, like, really important and fundamental. So I got into that when I was, like, 15, and I think that really developed into, like, what is my love for hip-hop from, like, a deeper point of view, because I didn't come into it because, like, I liked Lil Wayne. You know, I really, like, had to understand what was underground hip-hop, who are these key players, who are people that built this foundation in this community, and then you, like, go up from there, right? And, like, okay, that was my community. What's it like in San Diego? What's it like in Utah? You know what I mean? So you just kind of, like, and these artists, they know each other in the underground, right? Like, they all kind of, like, know who's out there. And so they collab, and, like, you're learning a lot from a web that can build up into what's popular and what's now. Because it is, like, the people we see now on the charts, like, they were underground ones too. Not everybody is a plant.
I feel like your gateway into music is very similar to mine and some other people's too. But again, when you're first exposed to music, it's like what your parents are listening to a degree.
Word.
And for me, my dad had VH1, MTV on, pop-up video, and I would see a bunch of Michael Jackson videos, and I was just hooked. Boom. I see Britney Spears, I see Kurt Cobain. I'm like, this is really cool shit. Not like understanding what is happening, what music these guys are playing, what scene are they from, but like I grew up with Michael Jackson, Thriller, and Bad, and I still have Michael till this day listening to it. And there's there was Big Pun a lot. My dad would play that, being Puerto Rican, the first Puerto Rican rap star to go platinum is very important.
Right.
And it was, listening to that was like my first gateway into hip hop music. And then there's Biggie Smalls, which is just,
fundamental.
like you said, with memories. Like I remember watching the Warning video and the Hypnotize video and music videos, which we'll talk about.
Oh yeah,
later.
that's
you know what I mean?
whole
That's
topic.
a whole other thing. And again, our first foray into these artists was through music videos. And I have not an argument, but like a discussion or a debate about music videos today. I don't really I'm not connected to music videos like I used to be. I'm just in front of the music.
Lots on that.
Well, yeah, of course.
Right.
And getting into adolescence, I have a point here. Trust me, I'm going to bring you in a second.
No.
Like when you get into adolescence, I'm still into the, I see T.I. a lot and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, there's the underground world,
Right.
And what is that? And I've had friends that were into underground music and they would kind of pull me into that and then I would get sucked into it. So how did you kind of come into that, the underground world? You know what I mean?
Well, okay. So to do that, I have to go back to talking about like punk, pop punk, like emo music because that was like so deep. And I don't know how old I was when I started going to shows, like really young. Like the first concert I ever went to was American Idol season 1 tour with my family. But like, I don't know what the first like show was that I went to see. And me and my friends just like, we wanted to see everything. We loved everything. We like could, throw music off of each other. So like we got into like a really local pop punk scene. And that introduced you to a lot of people and the worlds kind of collide. So I think when I got to high school and, my friend was like, oh, like, do you know Atmosphere? Like, what's Atmosphere? And like, okay, that's like the headstone of like the underground scene in Minneapolis in the sense of like the Rhymesire side of things. And that just like opened the door for me. And then like I was comfortable going to like small shows and like going to like, I don't need to be in an arena to like get that music high, And I think not everybody has that. Some people don't really like the intimate, like people sweat on you underground thing. But it just led to like transitioning into like hip hop, and a lot of the players from the pop punk scene also like transcended that. It was like a pretty fluid, like musically, I think Minneapolis is pretty fluid. Like everybody respects everyone's like hustle as long as you're respecting other people's,
Yeah. And that's very interesting because I have God Loves Ugly Atmosphere. And
blessed.
The bonus DVD of the whole tour, man, Slug was so like connected to the people of Minneapolis. It's unbelievable.
Word.
These fans are so dedicated, and it's the same in New York too. There's a little bit of like elitism, to a degree around here.
Yeah.
Well, my first intimate underground hip hop show, I went to see Immortal Technique at Irving Plaza. And again, it was my first foray into like, started going to shows. I was 18. And man, I was not ready for that because I didn't really trust coat check in a sense. I had like 2 big hoodies on and I almost passed out. So I went to the bathroom and I was a little lightheaded, a little dizzy. I wasn't used to it.
You gotta know how to dress. You have to know how to roll up.
I didn't know shit.
And when you're a teenager, that's the time when you can go in a t-shirt when it's 40, 30 degrees out. You know what I mean?
And it was like
when
March and April, so it was a little warmer out.
Right. Yeah. Like you really could have endured, but you know what? We all live and learn.
Yeah. And it was a lot of weed smoke in the air, and I was not used to that. But it was I loved it. I loved the close proximity, seeing like Chino XL freestyle rap right in front of me, Immortal Technique throwing water at me. It was really cool. Yes. I thought it was awesome. So, I think our trajectory into like underground music is similar in the sense that it's social. Your friends are telling you, it's word of mouth. And I think that's probably one of the best ways to discover music, in my opinion, because people will show you stuff and either you accept it or you don't accept it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, did you have like a certain cynicism, not cynicism, I guess, a kind of like a hierarchy in a sense that, oh, I listen to this music, therefore mainstream whatever is bad or whatever. There's a certain negative connotation to it.
But that goes way back into like,
of course,
like middle school, like real deep in the pop punk emo shit, and it was all about who's a sellout. And then Fall Out Boy made like a whole music video about how everyone said they were sellouts. Like, how corny. Like, that's so funny. I was and I wasn't. Like, I think I cared because other people cared, but I really don't care. Like, I've always liked what's super mainstream. I love a bubblegum pop. You know, I love, like, what's trending because I just love that. But I've always been like that.
Okay. Right.
But I do, like, I did. It's so alive in Minneapolis. And, like, respect to where it came from and the people that, like, helped grow me. But the, like, what's the word? When people are like arrogant about it, when people are pretentious about it, like, oh,
that's the word, yeah.
Because if I like this like underground less known thing, like I'm cooler than you, it's like absolutely not.
And that was me.
And you need to help hype your artists up to reach their greatest potential. And so if you're like, no, this is an exclusive club, like that's not how music works, bro.
Exactly. And you know what's funny, like the admiration or the acceptance of mainstream artists, at least for me, has always been in me. Because again, growing up as a kid, my favorite artists were Michael Jackson, the king of pop, right? And Get Rich or Die Trying was huge, and that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So I had this conversation with Sheila B, and it's always been there. But so I never understood my cynicism.
Right.
Because when you listen to a lot of these underground hip hop artists, like Immortal Technique, for example, or Ari the Rugged Man, you know, these guys are New York thoroughbred underground hip hop traditionalists, and they clown the mainstream all the time. And some of them have warranted criticisms for it, but then that kind of cynicism bleeds on you a little bit, at least for me. And then you kind of dismiss the Lil Waynes of the world. And I'm a big fan of T.I., and he was huge. You know, King was #1 when it came out because he had the movie. So I never understood my cynicism of mainstream anything.
Totally.
Yeah, I guess listening to underground hip hop in a sense, there's certain people kind of like, I'm not gonna say taint, I think it's a bad word,
right?
But kind of distorts your view of what, you know, what's authentic or what's not authentic.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird when you say like how artists maybe show disdain for the mainstream, which I totally agree and know, but I guess I don't really know. Well, I do and I don't get why, you know? Like, I do get it. Like, fuck the man. But also, I don't know. Like, I think if you have the chance to go all the way, like, why not take it?
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me and, like, how I see the world and how I think about, like, what I want to do. Like, you gotta take any chance you got and see where it goes. But, like, you don't have to be that way. So I guess, don't want to pass judgment on it, but it's something I definitely want to like know more about, like that viewpoint.
So when it comes to like a lot of pop punk and a lot of the Warped Tour, at least here in New York, especially on Long Island, that was huge here.
Word.
Huge here. A lot of people were into that, and I was willing to give it a chance. But it was never for me. I'll tell you why.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everybody because a lot of these guys, again, guys.
Yes.
A lot of guys.
Yes.
So I looked, me and my friend would look at the website and we'll see the bill of what bands are playing. We would listen to some. We would like sample them.
Word.
What I noticed, and maybe you probably noticed too, probably didn't care and you just enjoyed it. A lot of these bands sound almost exactly the same.
Yes, they're definitely
almost exactly
totally
the same. And they all have that similar, I guess you would call it post-hardcore-ish. They have the melodic choruses and very, screamed verses.
Word.
That formula was
Love
always
it.
I didn't love it, but there was certain, I guess there was one band that I thought was like, compared to all the rest, they were like, okay, this is okay, A Day to Remember.
A Day to Remember.
Some of their stuff was good. And,
That's
generally
like
speaking,
not my vibe, actually.
not really me either, but I think they had like one album in like 2011. I forgot what it was called. I think it was called All I Want. That was actually solid. I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty good. There was some really good songs in it. Their blending of like, the hardcore sound and having a pop sound, I think was blended, quite in an interesting way, in my opinion, even though it wasn't like my type of music and I would never go to a show of theirs. I didn't like them, but I appreciate what they were doing.
Yes.
Compared to the other groups, they were just kind of wash, rinse, and repeat. And it's just whatever. To me, in my opinion, a lot of people love that stuff. So how did you get into that stuff? Do you still appreciate some of that?
Oh, I
music?
absolutely appreciate that.
Is that a phase for you? Do you consider
it was
that?
a phase, but I like in the sense that you grow out of a phase. Like, no, I still live in that phase most of the time. Like,
so it's not really a phase for you.
yeah,
you still
it's
listen
not
to
a phase. Yeah, I still listen to it. I mean, I listen to everything though. I don't know.
What bands from that?
Oh, okay.
That mold.
My favorite is a band called The Used, which is very emo screamo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I loved From First to Last, which was where Skrillex comes from. Sonny Moore.
He used to play in a lot of those bands.
Yeah, he was in From First to Last. He was like 16. And it's really weird to be like I have a poster of Sonny Moore in From First to Last from 2007. And they're all in a bathtub, like black clothes, black hair, black makeup running down their faces, holding electronics, like in a bathtub, Jaffiel. And now he's like Skrillex. And it's so crazy because how that transition was amazing. I don't know. I would love to hear his story into that. But no, I love that. I loved My Chemical Romance. Let's talk about that later. Let's table that. That's a whole topic right now.
That is a whole topic.
But loved My Chemical Romance.
They're great. I've always thought they were great. I never
Yes, but I think they do what you said A Day to Remember does, better.
Much better.
More tolerable for the masses.
Much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually wrote really good songs, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh, Teenagers.
Oh my God.
Welcome to the Black Parade.
Dude, I mean, Helena was my foray into them.
Word.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it. I remember seeing them on MTV again. We were talking about
Okay. We gotta get into the music video stuff.
Yeah. You gotta, slow burn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess as far as...
I loved Fall Out Boy, though. That was my number one.
A lot of people I knew. You know what? I will say this about Fall Out Boy. I was never into them really.
Word.
I kind of dug their beaded cover for a hot second, but then I was like, it's not for me. A lot of people throughout all cultures, Black people, Asian people, white, they all loved Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy connected to all of them, which I think is cool, but I never really liked their music at all.
That's totally that's fine.
Yeah. Panic at the Disco was another one.
Fall Out Boy, I loved. We're... the Jonas Brothers stuff. What people think I feel about the Jonas Brothers, I actually feel about Fall Out Boy. And they're mainstream, they're corny now, whatever. But that experience of an obsession, a need to fulfill something in me by listening to them was the first band that ever gave me that. So I'll forever ride or die. And I think they're good people. I've met Pete, and that's crazy because 12-year-old me is dead knowing that I've had discussions with him and craziness.
They say never meet your heroes.
Right. Because after I met him, I never want to meet no one. I don't want to meet J. Cole. I don't want to meet anyone because he is such a genuine good person that, and just from short experiences I've had with him, I don't know his inner workings, but I feel okay, that's that's the pedestal, and I don't want anyone to fall below it. So I'd rather not meet anyone.
Yeah.
I want to I'll work with you. You know what I mean? When I talent run and stuff like that, that's cool. But I don't want to discuss and have the chance for people to fail me. But I don't have to. Because, I'm not, I'm a clout chaser in the sense of, it's funny, but I'm not a clout chaser in the sense of, I need pictures with my favorite celebs. I need 5 seconds with them. It's no, I appreciate their work. If I can help them do their work to their best ability and, really, give what gives me energy to other people, that's what I want to do. But I don't want to, hang out with them.
That's a great point because I'm a big wrestling fan, as you know.
Yes.
And I was listening to a few wrestling podcasts and this particular podcast, Chris Jericho, very famous pro wrestler, and he was talking about fan interactions, and he gets approached at airports all the time, and some people just want the quick selfie, and after they get the picture, the person that you took the picture with is irrelevant.
Word.
Because I got my moment, I don't need you anymore.
Right.
But he also brings up the point that I'd rather just talk to you. Because to me, that's more memorable. I'd rather have a conversation with somebody I look up to
same.
than just a quick selfie. Because it'll go on Instagram, get a few likes, and you'll forget about it.
Right.
Probably. But anyway, back to like musical phases and authenticity. You know, for me, I listen to a whole lot of like, you know, street rap, New York City. I loved 50 Cent. I love G Unit, all that stuff.
I
Lloyd
love
Banks.
50 Cent and G Unit.
Big fan. that's the shit I loved growing up. Biggie
Right.
Smalls, a lot of that hardcore stuff.
Yes.
And then I would hear artists like Common and then Kanye West
Yes.
and then Slum Village, all that
Do you
stuff.
remember the first time you heard Kanye?
Kanye West? Oh, man. The first time I heard Kanye, Jesus Walks.
Jesus Walks?
Yeah, I
No.
was fucked up.
Through the Wire.
Around the same time.
Right,
Around
but
the same time. Yeah.
That was like, I was like, wait, this person's amazing. Like,
In
this
the
is
same
so
hospital
good.
where Biggie Smalls died.
Yes,
It
and
fucked
like-
me up, man.
And like, just how he presented everything, how he, like, I wish that Kanye, like, I could, like, the old Kanye. I miss the old Kanye.
I mean, you know, I'm glad you brought Kanye West up. Because again,
I shouldn't have.
No, because again, I love 50 Cent and G Unit and all that
Right.
stuff, and I love that hardcore street shit. And my perception as a kid or adolescent is like, okay, this is how to be a true, authentic rapper. You have to be
Right.
hard and cold. Here comes Kanye West with
Yeah.
this very just emotional stuff. And then when the Curtis album came out and
Yeah.
Graduation came out, that was just that idea coming to a head.
Yes.
Like you got this hardcore street.
Yes.
And I love that. I bought Curtis.
Same.
I bought that album. I love it to
I
this
probably
day.
LimeWired it. But.
I actually went and bought the CD.
No, respect.
Yeah. And then Graduation comes out. I'm thinking Kanye saw it, but I was still bumping Can't Tell Me Nothing on the low. You know what I mean? I still dug that shit.
But like maybe being from the Midwest,
Yeah.
it was like open arms for Kanye. Open
Yeah.
arms. Hello, Kanye. We are here. We're listening, you know? But maybe it was like, because 50 is like, that's you. That's where you're from. That's your
Exactly.
culture. And so, no, I love 50. But I think I was a minority of my love for like G Unit and like all of that. Because like regionally, like, yeah, I was on the radio, but like, do you know about that kid from Chicago? You know?
Yeah. And I think Kanye West and 50 Cent, they both had mass appeal.
Yes.
But 50 Cent never, I think, with his mass appeal, because In the Club is a pop song. We
Yes.
all know this. But he wasn't ready to give up his street persona. He's not,
Word.
you know what I mean? That's why Curtis is such a hard album.
It's also funny to talk about it now and like see like how he is now.
Yet he's doing great.
He's doing great, but like his personality, like
It's still the same.
Yeah, but like online, he can be corny, dude.
Of course.
I love it.
Me too.
But like now you're like he's been part of our lives for so long. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I miss the days when you were like, have you heard of 50 Cent?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I remember I was in a bathroom in elementary school and I went to, you know, a very white elementary school. And then a lot of the white dudes love 50 Cent too. It's like, you heard 50? You heard this picture 50? He's in jail and all that stuff. I'm like, yo, the 8 Mile soundtrack. to
Yes!
this day,
I
to this
love 8
day,
Mile.
To this goddamn day, I'm still
Dude,
bumping that.
Rip Brittany Murphy.
Don't get me started.
I need to watch
Don't
8
get me
Mile. I haven't
started.
watched it in so long. I
watched it
used to
recently. It's
binge
good.
it all the time.
Yeah.
It was like, that's a little embarrassing. We'll move from that.
Yeah, Brittany Murphy's great. Clueless.
I just watched Clueless.
I have to watch it again.
Well, not just, but well, I guess when I was flying home for Christmas on the plane, I watched Clueless because like it was like the anniversary of her death, and I was like, word,
Oh,
let's
why'd you do
this.
that to yourself? The 10-year
Because
anniversary.
respect her. What happened? What happened?
Oh, man. I don't want to think about that.
I know.
want to think about it.
I know, but anyway, I love Brittany Murphy too. I love
Yeah,
her.
yeah. And I think that moment was, like, that 50 Cent and Kanye moment was so interesting to me because it's like,
Oh,
what
I
is-
like don't think about that, and
It's like-
that's a great moment.
yeah, it's like, what is authenticity? You know, I'm reading a book about that right now, but it's just, yeah, you can love both. And
You can love both.
yeah.
You can love whatever you want.
Exactly. That's
Like
it.
if you love Meghan Trainor and you also love City Girls, then go off. You know, like I don't care.
Yep. So MTV.
Okay,
So
yes.
what MTV. So
Oh, fundamental part of my life.
listen, yeah, for me to a certain extent. But here's the thing. You know, when I was like in maybe 4th or 5th grade, you know, I'd hang out. You know, I grew up on Long Island and in Queens too. I would go over to my cousin's house and we wouldn't watch MTV. We'd watch BET.
Yeah, for sure.
106 in Park.
Right.
The Top 25 Countdown on Saturdays. I would watch that all the time because they had a lot of, I didn't know this at the time, but it was just like this is like the black music video culture.
Yeah.
The first time I saw T.I. was on 106 in Park.
Love it.
It's the first time I heard 24s, and now that's my jam till this day. And 50 Cent G-Unit, all that stuff, and Ashanti, Ja Rule,
Yes.
all of that.
Ashanti.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then MTV. There was a lot more reality-based TV shows, Real World.
I loved The Real World.
And then TRL. A lot of people love TRL.
So yeah, TRL for me, like when you talk about MTV, like the reality stuff, whatever, but TRL was why I watched MTV.
I watched TRL, but the thing is, one thing that pissed me off about TRL, and you could probably agree with it, they didn't play the whole video.
No, what?
They
didn't. Word.
Didn't at
but
all.
like that was a format decision,
106 in Park played the whole video.
They do, I remember.
AJ and Free, you watched the whole shit.
Yes.
Unless the number one song, they would cut it out because they had to, wrap up the whole show.
Right.
But
which was like kind of backwards.
Yeah, when you think about it, the number one song is the most important song, right?
I remember this now. Like you're sparking a memory I forgot about.
Yeah.
Because I liked it all, right? Like I'd watch BET, I would watch MTV. Remember VH1 too had like blocks of music videos?
Of course.
Yeah, and then MTV2 when it went straight music video.
Don't get me started on MTV2.
Yeah, so
Sucker
like
Free Countdown, that was on me.
Here.
Yeah.
I am here for that. And MTV Overnight when it was all music videos. That was super important to me because I would fall asleep.
BET Uncut.
We were like TV on type people, right?
Me too.
But now I'm the opposite. I need silence and nothing. Black, nothing. But we were TV people, and I would fall asleep to MTV Overnight. And didn't like Disney and stuff, they had like music video blocks when we were little too. But anyway,
they would play like the Cheetah Girls.
Yeah. But it was Jason Mraz, The Remedy, and I was young, like 11, 12, and I missed what it was called and who sang it. So I was like, how am I going to look this up? Because it's 2003 or something, and I stayed up all night waiting for it to play again. I stayed up the entire night so I could figure out what that song was. Wow. And that's pretty embarrassing now, but it was great.
So I guess I'll ask a very important question.
Word.
How important was music videos to your early music discovery?
100%. 100%.
It was everything.
It was fundamental. It was building blocks. Because, I remember I had a Discman, right? My first CD I ever really, got, I don't think it was, my money, but my parents let me get it. It was Brandy. And I loved it, but I was, young. But the first CD I remember having a Discman and listening to was 5th grade. It was the Now 11 CD. So you got Chingy. You had some Shakira.
Oh, hell yeah.
You had, was it Jennifer Love Hewitt had a song?
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
And it was, Eminem was on it. And, Tipsy.
Yeah. What's his face? What the fuck's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue.
I got a fake ID, though.
What is his name?
I think Nelly was on there. But anyway, fantastic CD. I didn't have a lot of CDs though. And my parents had CDs, but I wasn't trying to listen to that. So, we didn't have Spotify. This was even before iTunes. So what you got? You got music videos.
Yeah.
You got online. You couldn't stream music. YouTube didn't exist. You had music videos.
Yeah.
So that's all that's how I learned about music. I want to bring up a website, see if you remember it. It's called Yahoo Launch. And it was all music videos. And it was one of the first streaming platforms because you could see on BET or on MTV T.I., right? Look up that music video and then it would recommend music videos and different artists. And so for me, I fell down webs with that. And I could watch music videos for hours and learn these new bands. And,
AOL had a platform like that.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. And that's wild to think about now because that doesn't exist.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess me growing up, like all that was played was music videos.
Yeah.
It was The Simpsons and it was music videos. That's all that was played. And
We
again,
watched a lot of The Simpsons too, not gonna lie.
I still do. That's the only reason why I have
know
Disney
you
Plus.
do.
That's that's just everything to me. But yeah, that's how I discovered Biggie Smalls, how I discovered, again, T.I. and all that stuff. My dad would just always have music videos playing. I'd go hang out with my cousins and it would just be music videos, BET, MTV, whatever. We just watched all that shit. I watched BET all goddamn day. And it was everything to me at that time.
Right.
You know, as I got older and I started like, you know, buying albums and listening to and going to shows, you know, music videos, you know, there was some great music videos that came out, but I was never like, you know, okay, I need to see this music video. It was never my thing. So do you think, are they still important to you, music videos?
Not as much. I still love them. So in my office, you know, they play music videos on all the screens. And so I love to like stop and look though, because I think like, you know, you're watching like Doja Cat's video and you're like, girl, like I loved it. It's beautiful. It's creative. It's, you know, like eye capturing. And I think it's complementary to the music, but we don't have the same attention span anymore. And we don't have the same platforms anymore where it's not as fundamental, the music video. Like, unless you're doing something that people are going to talk about, like, it doesn't matter.
So do you think that we need an MTV, something like that? Do you think it's still necessary, even though,
I don't know.
like you said, our attention spans are shorter and we have different platforms?
Yeah.
So do you think that a format or a platform like that can still be viable in today's day and age?
Kind of not. I mean, you got YouTube. Does that count?
Yeah, I think so.
I still think artists should make music videos and like, because like music is art, right? So the song is art. The lyrics are art. The like everything, the beat, the instrumental, like all of it's art that comes together, right? So why not elevate it? Why not do a music video? Bring in a different medium into your art, create a bigger project. Like, yeah, that's dope. Like, I think that's cool. I love to see the creative ideas that come out of it. But I just don't know if we ingest it the same and if it holds the same weight.
But I think that, you know, again, when we're kids and we don't have YouTube, like at least when we were growing up, we didn't have all this stuff. We didn't have internet or whatever. I didn't have the internet. The internet existed, but I didn't have it. So I can't just search up dope new music.
Right.
Back then, it's like you turn on MTV. There was
That's
a music. That's it. Music.
Yeah. And the
MTV
radio.
1, MTV 2, the radio. Exactly.
We found some jams on the radio, though. You know.
Yeah, but I think now, everything is, it's like cable. Like everything is so fragmented. Like, how does the general person discover new music? Because everyone that I talk to that's not like me or whatever, that's not, you know, going to record stores or whatever, you know, they don't know how to discover music. Even if with all these streaming platforms, you can listen to all these playlists till you're blue in the face, but like some people don't know how to find new music. So how do you think that they can? Like, how do you discover new music? I guess it's a better question.
Well, first, you gotta factor in age, and we are in an older demo now, right? And so it's not made for us. Like, we're not, like, the way you discover music, how Gen Z is, like how they're experiencing music, like it's not designed for you and me. So that's like something you have to take into account. So they say like people's music tastes and like their like what they'll go back to, what they'll listen to, if it's not like, you know, mainstream given to them, like it's going to be what they listen to in like high school and college, right? And so now we're out of that phase and we're adults. Like I can see, like, not to throw shade, but my sister I live with, you know, she reaches back when she's like making a playlist, when she's putting on music, she's not playing like some new stuff. She's playing stuff that like has existed in her life and she liked already. And I think a lot of people are like that. So like, to their credit, go off, like what you like, bop what you bop. I don't care. But I love to discover music, right? So when I realized like I'm old and it's not being fed to me, I had to go find it. So lots of word of mouth, right? Like we swap songs all the time. And I love Spotify. So I'm like a Spotify ride or die. So like no shade to Apple Music, but don't send me your playlist. Can't listen to them. But on Spotify, you know, they have like so many curated lists. So I just like run down it. So I love New Music Friday, but it's kind of tailored to your taste, you know, what you're going to see on there, I think. So I see like stuff I already like. But through that, I'll just go through like a bunch of them, like Rap Caviar or like, can I pull it out and tell you?
Of course.
Okay, cool. Because
No, you can't. It's cheating.
No, I don't want to. Don't pause for a second. Okay. So I like New Music Friday and Rap Caviar. Most Necessary is good. If you like, I was listening to Internet People, and I'm going to throw shade because I can. Like, it's all like white boy rap. And I'm like, why is this? What? Like, what? Like, it's Internet People. It's supposed to be like stuff popping off online, right?
Yeah.
Like, why is it all white boy rap? Like, who is listening to that?
There's a few white boys that I listen to that I love. A$AP Rock, I still listen to him. And
Yeah.
R.A. the Rugged Man. Those two white boys get busy. And
Yeah.
that's it. That's it.
Okay.
LP.
Yeah.
LP. Yeah.
But R&B, if you like R&B, it's like R and B, like the words. And it's such a good playlist. And it's great if you, because I think R&B doesn't get the love that it deserves.
Nobody knows
in
how to
these
discover
streets.
it. Yeah.
And that is like I said, my first album was Brandy. Like R&B has this like part of my soul. Like I love like if it was like a snowy cold day and you're home, like cozy, and you're listening to R&B, like that's the vibe I want to live in.
I grew up with Kiss FM and WBLS, so that was
Word.
like, you know, and watching BET a lot. That's where you get to know a lot of the R&B music.
Usher Bird music video, fundamental to me.
Man.
Fundamental to who I am,
Huge. Yeah.
how I experience the world. I love it.
Like the way I discover music, every goddamn day, every day, I'm reading all the music blogs.
Right.
Pitchfork, Stereo Gum, Consequence of Sound, Brooklyn Vegan, Hip Hop DX, all over that shit. And I discover a whole lot of great stuff from there. And a lot of those sites help me get my guests for the show.
Oh, that's
so,
dope.
yeah, I'm always looking for that. But that's me. Like when I talk about Pitchfork to certain people, they look at me like I have 6 eyes. Some people know what I'm talking about. Some, just like, what's
Weird.
Pitchfork? What is that? So I don't know how people discover new music.
Word.
I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I think, should there be, but even there's so many different things. There's so many different places for people to discover music. There's traditional FM radio, like love it or hate it, it's there. You know, you can literally find out who's, like, you can literally discover a new artist from listening to a particular station.
Sure.
Yeah, like,
Sure.
for me, listening to, like, WFUV, like the non-commercial stations, that's how I found out about Charlie Bliss. I
Right.
had no idea who they were
You
before
like
listening.
like the
Yeah.
Current, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Current is another
Yeah.
one. KEXP is another one. All the
Current
non-comp.
was for me in like college.
Yeah.
Like,
Radio K. Yeah.
I never listened to Radio K. I never have.
I love Radio K.
I would like go home though, like I'd go to class and then listen to the Current in my car and then go inside and stream the Current. And then that was after interning at iHeart. Because like when I interned at iHeart, I did listen to iHeart, but not a lot. Because I like pop music, but when you work in it, it gets to be a lot, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So the Current was like a nice little like oasis. And then I started working for a different station and that was like local focused. And so I kind of like pushed, and the Current got a little like obscure for me, if that makes sense. Like a little too on a fringe that like that more indie stuff that
Yeah.
I really never got full into. Like I like indie music, but it was just got a little too far out for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think college radio was another big foray into music discovery for me because I grew up with coming into college and before getting into college radio, underground hip hop, some bands, some bigger bands, the Black Keys, Foo Fighters. Then I go into college radio and there's Screaming Females, there's A Place to Bury Strangers. I'm like, this is some dope shit.
Right.
That not everybody knows about, but are very important and interesting artists. And then here comes Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is all me right here. And that was my way of discovering new music because there's a lot of these, record pools and promotion companies that are trying to promote these artists. A lot of them no one knows about. A lot of them are signed to major labels, but they're not marketed like like they would in other artists. Did you ever get into college radio? Did you ever experience?
Yeah. So, like you said, Radio K, that existed.
Yeah.
It exists. I didn't really listen to it. My college had a radio station, but it wasn't anything. And like, no shade because they did what they could do. But I did it. I was like part of it only because like I wanted it on my resume. Like I knew what I was doing with it. But I just wanted to have a show, right? So I had a show. Like literally the only people that listened to it was me and my friend Lauren, shout out. And the only people that listened to it were our moms. And so like we were like, hey mom.
My grandma listened to my college radio show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we just played. Ours was it was called Hi It's Me.
That's a great fucking name.
Thank you. It's like my catchphrase, but also like that was us. And we played chill vibes. We were like, that was our theme, whatever. It's like chill vibes, like whatever we're feeling, but nothing too upbeat, nothing too dark and sad. Like
what
chill
artists?
vibes. Oh my gosh, like everything. I don't know. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
So like, I graduated in 2015, and we didn't really do our show a lot at the end, but so it's my second semester senior year, I was talked into being part of like the whatever chair board or whatever you call it of the radio station, and that really like turned me off to the college radio station. It just wasn't. I didn't want to do it, but I was like trying to like help out my friends. But I was also interning, and so I was like, it's very hard to lift up something that's like maybe faltering when you're on your way out, right? Because like I was a second semester senior, so it wasn't that impressive to me. Like but it did help me like learn more about podcasts and stuff, because like that's always been interesting to me. So, but yeah, it really wasn't. It was more of a burden to me at the end.
You know what? I will have to sort of concur with that, because when I was in college radio, I did like an indie rock show. Mm-hmm. Here's why: because I feel like I was stepping out of my comfort zone. Because again, I grew up listening to a whole lot of hip hop and stuff like that. So I wanted to get out of that and learn about certain artists, and I would just play that kind of music because one, it was FCC friendly.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to spend hours editing this great obscure hip hop track that I would love to share with the world, but it's like every other word is not FCC friendly. What's the point? You know what I mean? I want people listening to like every word is like kind of has an effect where like it blocks out the curse, or it's like it's reversed and you can't hear the full integrity of the song. So it was more a lot of indie rock stuff, which I enjoyed, which I still enjoy. But I feel like I was putting myself in a box, and it just wasn't fun anymore. You know, I noticed that some of the artists I was playing, a lot of them were very white, and I was like, I just don't want to do this. I want to do something else. So I think I was like, this is like kind of a drag after a while. You know, I'm proud of what I did, but I think I found my medium. Yeah. And I can talk to different people and have different types of conversations. You know, if I want to talk about Tinashe, I could do that. If I want
Tinashe forever.
If I want to talk about pro wrestling with my brother, I can do that. You know,
right.
But I think that with discovering music, the general person is not going to get involved with their college radio station. They're not going to listen to a non-commercial station. They probably would subscribe to Sirius to find new shit, because they do have new weird stuff, and I love that. But
are a lot of people subscribed to Sirius though?
Do I don't know. I mean, maybe for Howard.
Well, my parents used to love it.
Yeah.
You know how it used to come with like new cars and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And then like in the last 5 years, they've just been like, well, Spotify exists, so what's the point?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I think again,
cars are Bluetooth now.
Right. But I think a lot of people like us, or you know, some other people too, that are listening to their own music and whatever they're listening to. But as far as like finding out new stuff, do you think a lot of people want to always be in front of new music like it was 20, 30 years ago? Because because you turn on the TV and it's right there.
Yeah,
you know?
No, I don't think it's the same.
No.
I think also people are cool with like what's going to be popular.
I see.
Like everyone's love for Lizzo, right?
Oh.
Love Lizzo. And I'm so excited for her that she's having this moment and that she deserves it. But, you know, people are listening to her because she's in the mainstream, right? And it's like, she's just a girl I met on the street in 2014. She's just, you know what I mean? She's just this amazing person that I just like stumbled upon at a show one day.
Yeah.
And have like rided for her. So like in 2014, would people be as hyped on her as I was? No, because they didn't know her. Right. But now that she's fed to them, they're cool with it. And I want that for her. But it's like, I'm just the type of person. And I think it's like a personality trait. Like you're just drawn to music. You're drawn to discovering it because it's something that gives you joy and energy.
Yeah.
Not everyone's like that. And that's okay. Like that's like about the pretentiousness too. Like I think a lot of people who are music people kind of have this thing of like, oh, you're basic because you only like what's fed to you, you know? But like, if you like it, that's okay, you know? But I like live to discover new music. I love the joy of like falling in love with a new band or a new artist. So like I look for it.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think people just want to be fed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say about, not just about hip hop music, every form of popular music, hip hop, rock and roll, even country music, it's dead. X is dead.
Yeah.
Y is dead. Z is dead. Because there's no artist that has this kind of magnetic pulse that's going to drag them in.
Yeah.
Like it was back in the day. Like you would turn on MTV. This is the big artist of this genre. This is this big artist and whatever,
Right.
whatever. But now, because Loretta Lynn just came out and said country music is dead, which is fucking preposterous because, again, country is huge.
Yeah, you can't just cancel a genre.
Because you know what it is? This is my opinion. I think that as we know, certain forms of music as we knew it is gone. Like hip hop as we knew it is gone.
Yeah.
But it's not, hip hop is not gone. It's just, there's just so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of new sounds
gotta
that are
stand
fucking people
out.
up. Exactly.
You got to stand out.
Yeah.
I mean, personally too, I love like genre blending. I love
That's it.
like I love things that are new and unique because like okay, music is important. Like it's always been part of our culture. Like human beings have always had music, period. But I love it as an art form. So like I want to see you bend things. I want to see you do something different and I want to hear something I've never heard before. It's also similar to like I think why I love drag, right? It's like please challenge what I think exists and what's real and what's like societal and normal and like challenge that, make me think, right? But not everybody's down for that. So I think like Lil Nas X, right? That was such a controversy. And why? Like that was a banger.
Yeah, it was. Old Time Road is slaps.
So who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Why do people care so much? Like radio stations had to be, you know, whatever about not playing him.
That is a
on the
bunch
country.
of shit.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then
How can I not? Yeah.
I sat down with someone you work with and I was talking to them about it and they're like, it's just racist. Like that's all it is. And why does that like what? Like why? Why does that stand in the way of like creativity? Like just
because
so
people are
dumb.
holding on to a certain aesthetic for any music, like country music.
because it made the money though.
Yeah, people know that's another part of it's. That's why
And
it's
that's
also racist.
it.
Let's make money off this black boy now.
Yeah.
we didn't want to play him,
Right.
But now he's
but
popping.
now we know he can make money, so let's make money off
Exactly.
him. And it's
fucked
like
up.
I love Lil Nas X and I follow him on social media and you know, I like he was really struggling before Old Town Road popped off. And so like now you're taking a kid who was struggling, who was having an outlet of creativity with his music, and then you're saying we don't like your song's amazing, everyone's respecting you, but we don't want to play you because of the way you look, you know? And it's like, ugh, like grow up.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to his EP was really interesting because there were so many different. Not all the songs sounded like Old Town Road.
No,
Not at all.
And like Panini is such a
Yeah,
cute
Panini's
song.
great.
Oh, I love
He's
it. I think I
great.
just listened to it earlier.
And Rodeo is great.
Yes.
These are all great
and
songs.
like talk about music videos. His music videos have been pretty cool.
I haven't seen any of them.
They're very interesting. He's such a cute kid, and like, he has a song with Nas. You know, Lil
Yeah.
Nas X and Nas, and like,
They did a remix of Rodeo.
Yeah, my heart.
That's so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I think that's great that Nas is embracing him because he's from the old guard.
Right.
You know, and on paper, it's like, oh, these kids today, all they do, they're just mumbling. And that's another thing that pisses me off. And I want your take on that.
No.
Everybody
Don't
says.
be calling things mumble rap and
I
trying
don't
to.
get
No,
it.
go away.
I used to work with people and they were like, yo, the mumble rap today. You know what I say? Who?
You say, okay, boomer.
Who? You can say that, but like, who are these mumblers?
Yeah,
I want to know. I'm curious. Who are these mumblers?
Yeah,
who
I
are we
think
talking
people
about?
talked about that like with Migos in the beginning.
With Migos, yeah.
And a lot of like.
Those motherfuckers are articulate. I don't care.
Oh my gosh! Like, listen to their lyrics. Are you kidding? I could never think like that. Like, they are so good at what they do.
Yeah.
And because people are like people don't want to reach. They don't
Future,
wanna
I don't
reach.
understand what he's saying sometimes, but that's not why people like him.
I
don't
like have a soft spot for Future.
Me too.
One summer I saw him like almost 3 times. The third time fell through, but I never intended to see him once. So, I felt like we were really drawn together that summer.
Yeah. So, what do you think when people say, all today, rap today is they're just mumble rap, blah, blah, blah. Like, what is your response to
Okay,
that?
boomer. Like,
Okay, boomer.
Like, seriously, like, what? I don't know. Don't pass judgment. Like, I could say Kid Rock and everyone that sounds like him is racist, but that's, that's a projection. It's like if you're saying mumble rap, it's like, why?
Why are you painting a coat over a whole form of music?
Right, and like, what is really fueling you to say that?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I think when people say that, like, to me, I'm like, okay, like, that's the end of that discussion with those people.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, I love the band My Bloody Valentine, one of my favorite bands ever. I love shoegaze and all that stuff. But you know what? Like, there's no lyrics in it. There's lyrics, but it's not about what is said, it's how it's said.
Mm-hmm.
They're cultivating a sound. So when you're listening to, the vocals, it's not really clear. It's very cloudy. And I think a lot of today's popular hip hop is that.
Yeah.
Because when I'm listening to Future, I'm listening to Young Thug, they're not really saying anything really clear. Some things might come out as coherent, but they've cultivated a sound. It's an aesthetic. It's not what is said, it's how it's said.
Yes.
And they have a melody and a vibe, lack of a better term.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
That's
for
all it
sure.
is. Yeah.
No, it's just like okay, so you know how people say like you could be a lyricist or you could be like into melody and beat?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's true. I think I'm somewhere in the middle because like
I love both. Both are very important.
Like the rhyme sayers of the world, like the Doom Tree, all of that's very lyrical, right? But what I love complexity. So whether it is in lyrics or in melody, like or beat or whatever you're doing that's complex, like that's what draws me in. So like challenge the way I think in any way, like in any part of the project altogether, whether that's like putting different genres on one like album or if it's like playing with different sounds within the structure, you know what I mean? Like I just like things that make you think.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's some people aren't like that, right? So then they get scared of the new, right? Because they get really used to something that they like. And then they don't really necessarily want to be open to something that's completely challenging what they like.
Yeah. And I think that there's room for, especially in hip hop music, there's room for both. Like I like both. Like if I want to hear a dense verse, I'm gonna listen to like Homeboy Sandman or A$AP Rock, and they're really good at painting pictures, or Rhapsody or Black Thought, dense lyrics. But most importantly, the music is also there, and it's very intriguing and interesting. But on the other side, with the Lil Babies of the world, the Gunnas, all those guys, they have such a very interesting sound, and those guys are running the whole shit right now. Like Atlanta is everything now.
Riding for them.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
And they are the wave now. But the thing is, when the wave crashes, how are you going to reinvent yourself? And that's a discussion for down the line.
But it's what's the word? Like it all comes back around. Because like when we were young, wasn't Southern hip hop having such a moment?
Yeah.
We always talk about 3 6 Mafia.
It's still going on now.
But so like what's the word? It wanes and weaves.
No, with Southern hip hop, it never stopped.
Right. No, it didn't stop. But like what's popular comes in waves.
Oh yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean. But like that doesn't mean the growth of that doesn't like Southern hip hop like was still thriving and growing and evolving since we were kids. You know what I mean? Like since to now, it's different. You know, but it's still like the roots of like what was Southern hip hop and like what fueled us back then and before us even. So I think the crash, yeah, like reinventing. But I also think if you're just really true and authentic to your sound, whatever you're going to do is going to be successful. If it goes against the trend, then maybe you set a new trend.
Yeah. I think like an artist like Young Thug is that because you're here, like when you listen to, like you turn on the radio, you know Young Thug when you hear him.
Yeah.
You know him. That voice is so, it's right there. It fucks you up. It makes you feel uncomfortable. Because the first time I heard Young Thug, I was completely irritated because it fucked up my view of what a hip hop record sounds like.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to hearing a certain kind of sound, and when I hear something that totally challenges that, it's so like it's foreign and you kind of dismiss it. And I didn't really love Young Thug's music at first, but then I think his later work has been very interesting. Like I love the Young Martha stuff with Carnage. I think that's probably the best stuff he's ever done.
Yeah.
And his first album, which fucks me up because he's been doing this for like 5-6 years. So I think that was very interesting. And I think Young Thug is going to be, hopefully, and I think so, he will grow and change with the times.
I agree.
And people will emulate him like it's happening right now.
And I think like you said, he's been around for a long time, but like coming out with his own project, like separate from everything else he's been doing, is like, that's like proving what he's going to do in the future. Like he's taking it in. He's watching, learning, ingesting. You know what I mean? He's like just taking his time with things. I think sometimes when artists are like, we're churning out music to churn out music, to tour, to make money, like you're going to lose a little bit of the like absorbing what's happening now, what's coming up, how you're going to roll with it, right? And then you get a lot of burnout and you get artists disappearing, you know, not making new music because they're trying to like find the sound they want, you know?
I think that's very important. I
wish everything would just slow down like one beat so that we could all move a little more fluidly, but
I think like artists like Lorde, for example.
Yes.
I think a lot of people, especially on social media, have given her a lot of shit for not turning out an album every year. But like her last 2 albums are really good. You know why? She slowed down. Like I hope Billie Eilish doesn't rush to put out a new album.
But like Adele, same thing.
Yeah, she takes a couple of years.
Hopefully that's his
Oh, well, yeah.
And like Rihanna.
Yeah. Oh, Rihanna. There's another one. Yeah.
You know, and it's not like you can churn out music and still have good music, still have bops, still make incredible records. But like, I just think even like working in the industry, I still like, I'm here for the authenticity of music. And so I don't want to hear things because you're being told you need to put something out. You know, I want to hear something that you like put your heart and soul into.
So wrapping up like our music discovery conversation, the Grammys.
Oh.
Did you watch this year's Grammys?
I don't watch the Grammys. I don't care what white men in suits in offices have to say about what's music. Whatever.
Yeah.
Go away.
I think I didn't watch it either because I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
But I think I've noticed something about the Grammys. I think that a lot of people, especially in the Academy, they don't know, like, they're not up to date with how the sounds of music is changing so fast. Or, you know what I mean? They don't know how to categorize certain artists, or maybe that's the discussion to have. Can you still categorize artists? For example, Rosalia won Best Latin Urban.
Rosalia.
I love Rosalia too. But the thing is, she's not a Latina. Why is she getting a Latin award?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Her music is not Latin music. There's a little bit of Latin in it, but she's Spanish. She's European.
Yeah.
You know, her album is flamenco inspired. So where do you, if you want to...
It's too narrow.
Yeah.
Like and it's, I know what you're saying. Like taking small, like saying Latin music, which is like, there's so many types of Latin music, you know?
Yeah.
The Latin music is is all types of music, from hip hop to pop, you know, to all these things. Like you said, like it is narrowing. And it's unfair.
Do you think people give the Grammys too much power?
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah,
Like
me neither.
I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from the Grammys. Like what a board of people I don't know things about music, and like have you know what's going on there, right? With the the inner workings back there. Whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's whatever,
cancel it.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean,
You want
honestly,
Nora awards? I'll give you Nora awards.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think I'm gonna enjoy records. Like my favorite albums of last year, a few of them have been Grammy nominated. Maybe less than a few, but I'm still gonna enjoy music either way.
Yeah.
But you know, there's something to be said about, you know, how it tells a story of like where the music industry is, because like radio, for example, urban. The fuck is urban? Black.
Right.
Lizzo wins Best Urban Album. What the fuck is that?
Right.
Yeah, look, I don't care about the awards, but I'm just saying, like people you got to open your eyes to see. That's why it's like no one watches this shit anymore, because like we know what's happening. Like Tyler, you know, he said what we're all thinking already. He won Best Rap Album, right?
Yeah.
Which is great, right? That's nice. You salute them. But I listened to Igor, barely a rap album.
Right.
But the problem is, not a problem, but like when he promoted the album, he went to hip hop outlets, of course, because he's Tyler. He's a rapper. The rap community knows Tyler.
Yeah.
So, but when you actually listen to the rap radio didn't play Tyler. They didn't play him.
No, they did not.
But he gets awarded the album. Why? Because Tyler, the creator, is a rapper.
Yeah.
Therefore, you get the best rap album.
Yeah.
Even though your album, the music, there's no rapping on it.
Right.
Very little rapping on it. So
you heard his interview, right?
Which interview?
Like after the Grammys, and he talked about it, and he was like, "This is a consolation prize. Like, this is bullshit."
Yeah.
You know.
But then why show up?
Well,
I guess to address the issue, but
I don't know. Like if somebody was like, even if he was like, "I'm going to give you a Grammy,"
I'll take it.
And then you have the platform, say whatever you want.
Yeah, you invited me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
but then I accepted it.
And it's Tyler. He wants to say what he wants to say when he gets the chance to say it.
I agree with him wholeheartedly, but I think that, you know, I believe artists give these things too many. Like P. Diddy was like, y'all have 365 days to get your shit together. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, who cares? Just stop caring.
Yeah, like celebrate the BET Awards. They celebrate you guys perfectly. There's no best urban album.
Last year were so much better. Yeah, are you kidding?
It's a much better show to watch.
It is a much better show. But also, like, I just don't care about award shows very much.
Yeah, me
like,
neither.
I don't think accolades like
I just
that
wanted your opinion.
like
Yeah.
make any sense to me. Like the Oscars, the Grammys, all of that. Like whatever. Like who was saying that to us? You know what? I went to the VMAs. That was lit.
Yeah.
People Choice Awards. How about that?
Yeah, the VMAs are another thing because I don't think they know, like, especially like
nothing's going on there. Like nothing's actually happening. Like you watch the performances and otherwise like
it's a TV show.
Yeah, I went and I was like right above where all the celebrities were, so that's really what I watched the whole time. Like I watched Sophie Turner meet Lizzo. That was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And I was just like, hey, I'm like right above you. What's good?
Like I think those are the things that you remember. Like I remember Kevin Hart making fun of Lil Wayne saying you're black, stop skateboarding or whatever. And the look on Lil Wayne's face, like when the camera turned to him, the cut to him, he had this angry look. And then when he realized the camera's on him, he smiled.
I love that. Lil Wayne's the best. Also,
did you hear his new album?
Oh no, but I saw it. It's on there. It's something I'll get to. I'm a little apprehensive.
I think I listened to the album. I think it's better than the Carter 5.
Okay.
But some of the beats on it were really good.
Okay, that's good.
I feel like it was way too long. It was 22 songs long. It's like an hour and 15 minutes long.
That.
He does do that, but this is very long. I think he's so used to making mixtapes. I think that's what it is. Just make another mixtape.
Yeah, please.
Just do it. Yeah. I don't know.
I think the formality between that all, like, let's put out an EP, let's do like a full album, let's do a 2-part album, let's do a trilogy, like all that. It's like, cool, do what you want to do, but just like do what you do best. So if you're like really good at the mixtape game and like you can challenge yourself and do some of these other things, but like at least play to your strengths.
Yeah, and Lil Wayne is an artist that doesn't need to do anything anymore.
No.
He can drop mixtape. I think he can do that now. He can just make dedications or the drought or whatever until he's blue in the face.
Yeah.
I think he can do that. But this day and age, I guess, when the longer your album is, I forgot what the situation is. I think you get paid more. I think if you have a longer album or whatever. I forgot what the thing is or whatever. But I think that's why a lot of these artists like Drake are putting out double albums and stuff like that. Because I think they get more royalties for the more songs. I don't know.
You're
think so.
not a Mac Miller fan, right?
No.
Oh, okay. So I think what he was doing was super interesting because like I'm not always in for like a trilogy because sometimes, especially if it's like the first one's underwhelming, then you're like, ugh.
You mean like one album and then that's part one?
Yep.
That's fine. That's cool. I mean, Run the Jewels does it. One,
no,
two,
it's
three.
cool, but
Yeah.
it's just not always for me.
Oh yeah.
But what I like, so Mac Miller's thing was trying to transition into like a different sound. Like,
Yeah.
he wanted to get more into like a softer, more like lyrical sound, but like still have, and like,
He was doing that with Larry Fisherman anyway.
Totally. But so he was going to have the trilogy of Swimming Circles and then another one.
Yeah.
And it was all going to be like kind of a journey through that. So like the first album I think was like a blend. The second, which just came out, Circles, was like more of that softer sound. And then the third was going to be just like his older hip hop stuff. And I think he linked with like some new producers. Like he was really trying to like find these like new outlets. I think that was super cool and super interesting. Would have loved to see how that turned out.
Yeah.
But sometimes artists do it because they can sell it. And then they're just putting out kind of like maybe 3 tracks are awesome and the rest could take or leave them. And I don't really want that. I want all awesome.
With Eminem specifically, I think where he's at, like he loves the technical aspect of hip hop, which is great. Me too. But I think especially the last couple albums, and it's not just about Eminem, it's a larger story of hip hop music. To me, this is my opinion, but I think we're fans of rap music.
Yeah.
So the technical aspect of rap music, is important, but the music aspect is also very important.
Yeah.
I feel like
more important.
Yeah. I feel like Eminem is missing the music part. I feel like a lot of his choruses, a lot of his songs are just not there.
Well, and it's like what made him famous, what being controversial, doesn't translate anymore. And he could still probably do it in a different way, but he chooses not to.
Yeah.
And like if you want to appeal to that fan base that's like minuscule now, like go off. Just not for me.
I think it's a larger story of artist evolution.
Yes.
I think I read this great article about Eminem. What's it? Hip Hop DX wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we want Marshall Mathers. We don't want Slim Shady.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Word.
Because I think my favorite Eminem song ever is Lose Yourself. You know why? Because this was a transition from Slim Shady to Marshall Mathers.
Yeah.
He wasn't killing his wife. He wasn't raping nobody. He was talking about his transition from being dirt poor, and being the biggest star in the world.
Yeah.
I think that's where he needed to go.
Because that's his truth. That was his truth then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just speak your truth.
That's it.
And like if your truth is being kind of gross, then find a different market. I don't want to hear it.
I mean, I know, again, like Eminem, like I know where he comes from. Like the Detroit horrorcore rap scene.
Totally.
Esham, all those guys. He's from that. He's cut from that cloth. So I get it. But like, you are one of the biggest pop stars in the world. Like, you have to be careful of how you move in that space. You know what I mean? If you're going to be controversial, make sure it's for like a good reason.
Right, because and like he gets it. He tries, right? He did that one like anti-Trump thing, which like, okay. We'll support anyone who does that, but
the music wasn't there.
It was almost like tone deaf,
Yeah, like the white boy, you're a rock star is just one of the worst choruses I've ever heard ever. Just from again a music standpoint,
totally.
not
just makes your skin
anyway about
cringe.
Yeah. So I want to know. You work at the Bowery too. I didn't mean to put your business out there,
no,
but
it's cool.
It's part of the conversation. So what are you noticing working there? Like what kind of artists do you see come through? Like, what are some things that stick out to you from your experiences working there?
Yeah, I mean, I see everyone because it's like so many people. Bowery's really a place where if you're coming through the door, it's one or two directions. You're coming through the door on your way up, like you are not playing Bowery again. Your next stage is going to be like Radio City Music Hall. Like you're about to pop off. Or maybe you're coming through as a like, what's the word? How do you say it? Like you're coming back, right? So you're just like testing your waters. You're seeing where your fans are. You're seeing the engagement. There could be like some people who are like that's just their lane is kind of that that style of venue and stuff. But I think for the most part, people come through Bowery on their way up on the way up. So I've seen a lot of people. I remember Clario coming. That's really that one stuck out to me. Not because of her music, but like I didn't know anything about her. And then all of a sudden it's like Chance the Rapper's manager's there. And I'm like, why is Pat here? And putting that all together, kind of learning her story was very interesting. And just because when Chance was coming up too and like working at a hip hop station, like, you know, he was independent and it was different, right? So like we know a lot about his team. So I was interested in seeing like, not that she's not complimentary, but she's pop, you know, so she's not like the same as Chance. So it was interesting to see like what was going on behind the scenes for her. And now look at her, like she's really popped off. Pink Sweats was a cool show because like I knew before, I was like, he's kind of a Khalid feel, right? I was like, he's going to do great. So now he's really on the up and up. Like on so many festival lineups. So like good for him. So excited for that. There's been other ones and I wish I would write them down, but sometimes like I have no idea who it is and I'm not by the stage, right? Like I'm under the stage, but I'll like hear them and I'll just be like, okay, like I'm going up there. I'm going to figure out who that is, you know? And what I love about live music mostly is, I love to see everybody coming in and experiencing it because like live music has always given me like a high. So I love to see the people like that's their first show, right? That's their first show ever. Or they've waited 6 months for the show. It's something big they're doing with their friends. Or someone who's seen the band a million times and they're like a roadie, right? Like they just like, they're groupie, they're here. Like, they, you know, I love that. I love, oh yeah, this is the 5th state I've seen them in, you know? And I love the camaraderie of like, maybe a lot of times when it's like an older demo and it's like, these are what these guys have been looking for. Like them and their friends bought these tickets. This is their bro time or like, this is ladies night. Like all of that. Like I love the energy that live music gives. And I love getting to experience that and help it be. Like I love making that for someone else.
You've been in New York a couple of years and do you feel like, well, I guess, have you ever spent time or have you ever had any kind of foray into like the underground music scene in New York?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just from like you guys showing me stuff, I definitely want to get more into it, but it's like very different because, you know, you're from the Twin Cities, you got Minneapolis, St. Paul, you know, you got like maybe like North Minneapolis is like kind of a smaller, like dividing it all up, like where people are from, South Minneapolis, whatever, St. Paul. Don't know much about St. Paul. But here it's like, okay, now you have Brooklyn, then you have within Brooklyn, and then you have the Bronx, and I know nothing about the Bronx, and then you have, you know, Queens, and like I'm here like just trying to keep up. It's like there's so much happening.
Yeah.
So like, and not everybody's story is different. Depending on what borough you're from, depending on what part of the borough you're from. And that's a little different from where I'm from. So I feel like it's like a bigger web to learn.
I think within Brooklyn, a lot of artists that come through, you know, my show are from Brooklyn. And the first thing I ask them, the first conversation I have with them after telling them what my name is, have you ever heard of this band, that band? They're like, no. I'm like, huh, that's so interesting. Because you know, Brooklyn is a huge borough, but it's a small world.
Yeah.
And there's so many. Have you ever been to any of the new smaller venues like Elsewhere? And,
oh, yeah. I've been to Elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah. Beautiful
it's
space.
Dope. Yeah.
I love Elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's
highly
like
recommend.
It's a music mall.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it's like the rooftop.
Yes.
I've been to a show there. Oh, my God. Amazing.
I love
the hall.
That's what I like about venues when they're like a little bit more like you could have multiple like music going or like you can go on the roof and it's a totally different vibe. Like I love that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of shows going on at the same time.
Yeah, love that. Love
and
that.
Rhapsody's coming through the Elsewhere this
really?
week. Yeah, this Thursday.
Wow.
I'm going to go see her.
Go
Bought my ticket, $30.
$30.
Yeah, you should come.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. I think it's just her. No opening acts.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Elsewhere is just a little bit of like a hike.
A hike for you, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hashtag Bushwick.
Yeah. It's like a 30-minute drive for me. It's very easy to get to from my house. But
yeah.
taking the train, it's like an hour and a half.
Right. That's like the hardest part is like the distance
But you're maybe not that part of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You're close to like where, like Atlantic Terminal, like the Flatbush. You're close to there.
I can get to Atlantic Terminal.
In like 2 minutes,
I can get
right?
to Barclays in like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
all the smaller venues are
weird...
deep in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but it's not that I don't love them because like
Yep.
I still go, but I just like a little bit less. And also like I'm not a winter person, so like I'm more inclined to do stuff in the summer.
I see. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You know, there's been like a month where I've been like so demotivated to do anything.
Yeah, I'm a hermit.
Like
It's
I have a
okay.
lot of podcasts like in the can because I've just been, oh man, I gotta get up, I gotta open up my laptop, and like sometimes, you know, having a full-time job beats the living shit out of you.
Yeah, for real.
So you just feel nothing. Now I'm back in, back in my groove.
Get
you
on
know
your
what I mean?
bullshit.
Yeah, I'm back on my bullshit. You know what I mean? Trying to get this podcast bag. But
You can do it.
before we wrap up here, MCR. You wanted to talk about MCR?
Oh
What's
yeah. Okay, so here's the drama.
Okay, go ahead.
So the tour, like the U.S. tour, came out, and now
Barclays Center, and when? I know they're
I
coming
don't know
here,
the date, but the tickets
I would go.
are astronomical.
Yeah.
And people are really kind of like online talking about it. It's very interesting. It's something that I think coming like now being on like an industry side want to look into more because the price of live music is going up because you don't make album money anymore, you know? And so everything is a little different. And the thing about MCR though is like breaks my heart, like because we are all excited. It is worth $1,000. That is worth $1,000.
$1,000.
But should people pay $1,000?
No.
Right? Like that's that's $1 million experience because we never thought they'd come back. Hello, they were so important to all of us. Like such a fundamental part of
their biggest fans probably won't be there. It's probably going to be if the tickets are
and
as
the people that
expensive-
could benefit from them can't be there.
No.
I don't know. It's just like a topic I think we should keep in mind and like investigate what we can do to make live music more accessible.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important to me.
Yeah. And you know what? Going to see Rhapsody this week, it's going to be the ultimate test. Okay, I spent $30 on this ticket. I want to see the different types of people that come to this.
Yeah.
Because, I think I've told you this before, going to shows has been very hard for me because when I go to shows, like I don't see people that look like me a lot.
Yeah.
When I went to go see Gemma at the Union Pool, that was one of the first shows I've been to in Brooklyn where it's like I see a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah.
And I think I told you the story about this house show I went to on Long Island a couple of years ago. As me and my brother were leaving, I opened the door. There was another black guy coming in, and he was telling me, "It's like, yo, black people come here," and it was funny, but it was really sad because it's like, man, are black people coming out to shows? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, remember we were talking about that a few months ago with who was it? That was like,
No Name.
Yeah, it was No Name.
Yeah.
Like, why should I do shows for the white frat boys?
I know.
And dude, what's going on? Like, how do we fix this?
Maybe it's because
everybody
what you were
deserves.
saying, the ticket price is going up.
No,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And like, the people who have the money fuel the industry, and that's just like where it is. And I don't have money, like I am very privileged to be where I am and do what I do because I have access to see a lot of things. But like if I'm out here 100% like paying for everything I go to and everything to see, like I can't go to anything. And like that's just me. Like there's so many of us. Like how do we be more inclusive and like I just think it should be more obtainable.
And I think that, what was really fucked up, it's like, when I go to shows, or not just concerts, even pro wrestling shows, it's like, I have the money to go to these shows, but, some of my closest people probably don't.
Yeah.
And I feel like I go to a lot of shows by myself because a lot of people, they can't afford to go and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes I help them out, but, these things are expensive.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wish there was a way that we can, like, include people to enjoy themselves, you know what I mean? To be able to go to some of these shows.
Well, like how Broadway has rush tickets, how
that's true.
Broadway
Yeah,
has lotteries. Like that was because Broadway is for everyone. It should not be something that people should not be able to experience. And like that's really on the creators. That was on the theaters and the directors and the producers and like totally different segue, but like Rent was a big part about that because Rent was about everybody, so Rent should be seen by everybody. So Rushing, Lottery, all of that was super important to those creators, and I think that music should maybe like take a little bit of a nod to that. And not all of us are out here living big, so
I'll give radio credit.
Yeah.
Because they do a lot of ticket giveaways and stuff like that.
I used to win so much before I worked in radio.
My dad used to win a whole lot of shit. That's why I went to a Yankee game, Mets games, and all these shows because of radio station contests.
Yeah.
And I think there should be more, using the media that we have now, I think there should be ways to try to include. You can't always include everybody all the time.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be certain avenues that can help people get out to some of these shows and truly enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's therapeutic.
It is very therapeutic. I want to know, like, okay, Normani. There's one, yeah. There's a lot of things I wanted to talk to you about, but I'm trying to like piece it together. When is she coming out with anything? You know what I mean?
I don't know anything.
You don't know?
I don't know anything. And I mean, you can look at Twitter and see maybe what she's up to. I don't know anything about Normani. I do know, and Twitter is the confirmed place for that like SZA is working on stuff. She just tweeted.
Man, I've heard that so many. She was supposed to work on something with Mark Ronson and Kevin Parker.
She was probably still is. She said something really like Jesus 2 days ago. Oh, the session I had today, I've been waiting my entire life for. LMAO, no,
what?
Not gonna cap, haven't even slept. Like something fire is coming. That was 2 days ago.
Yep.
2 days ago. I'm in the studio every day, all day. I'm gonna talk about dinosaur fart if I damn well please. So like, yeah, for sure. Like go off says like I'm waiting for you. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I'm now on your team. Like let's go. What can I do to help? I just love her. No, but okay, so flashback when that day I met Lizzo. In 2014, the first time, I also saw SZA for the first time. Wow. Totally different SZA, right? Totally different SZA.
Yeah.
And that was POS. That's like Doomtree. He's like Doomtree affiliated. And that show is called The Best Fucking Show Ever. And that was the first year. And it was like I spent 12 hours in a parking lot listening to hip hop. Like it was so funny. I loved it. Like I love that. Like that's what I want to do every day.
I think TDE was like my foray into SZA, when she's part of the
Yeah.
clip. You know, when Kendrick was putting out Good Kid, Mad City, Schoolboy Q had Habits and Contradictions, Absol, Control System, and then SZA had something.
Yes.
But she wasn't like popping yet.
No.
She was just, here
but
I
she
am,
was
I'm
good.
SZA. But she was great.
I remember being like, damn, who is she?
Yeah.
And like me and my friends talking about it, like writing it down, like remembering her. The same way that day we did Lizzo. And then it just so happened that SZA kind of fell off. And I remember after seeing her that day, she didn't have a lot of music out. So there was like more, but like Lizzo coming from a group called The Chalice, you could really go a little bit deeper in her music history. That I think was what linked me so much was like, she was
signed for a long time though, before she blew up big.
Yeah, but like even before that, so she did The Chalice and then she went off as Lizzo.
Yeah,
and,
right, exactly. I'm speaking of the terms like when she was by herself, like as a solo.
Totally. But I think she developed her sound. She did it so well, and she did it so elegantly. And here we are, like reaping in the benefit of her come up. And like I'm so happy for her. Like when I was at the VMAs, I was literally like crying because I was like, how amazing is it to see someone come from like the same place I came from in the same world, and now see her killing it, winning Grammys. And, I'm on my own different come up, but I'm just like so moved by her.
Yeah. I remember seeing Lizzo on Samantha Bee's show.
Yeah.
After Trump got elected, and that was something. And I always knew her as a rapper. Like
yes,
I didn't really know she could sing like that.
I've like been trying to educate people on that. I'm like, Lizzo has so much more up her sleeve.
Yeah, like I remember some of the kind of loose singles she was putting out before her album came out last year. Truth Hurts was one of them.
Yes.
I didn't think that song would blow up. Like, I knew it was like
The
it's a smash.
barbershop soundtrack put her on. Put her on.
And she had that song Boys. Remember that?
Yes.
That I
That
love
song,
that tune.
honestly, and like
Beautiful.
my favorite like TikToks and stuff are when people are like doing like dogs, you know, like
I'm not
itty
on
bitty
TikTok,
ones.
so-
Like, oh, it's so cute. Oh, you're missing out.
Oh, okay.
We
All right.
totally missed over TikTok in the music discovery conversation, but
Oh, you discovered music through TikTok?
yeah. So like
Yeah.
I actually got into TikTok because, you know, I follow like random industry people, industry platforms on like Twitter and stuff. And someone was like going off and they're like, TikTok is in 2019, TikTok had 5 people trending in ending up on the charts, right? And in 1 year, 5 people blew up from TikTok. And that's just like the ones that people remember or like the ones that are still like happening. Like there are so much more from there that's coming up through that platform. And like, yeah, is it weird? Yes. Is it Vine? Yes. You know, is it kind of problematic in ways? Yeah. Like, is the Chinese government watching us through it? Probably. Hey, what's up? You know? But, like, I'm just fascinated with it. It's just like how everything else. Like, if that's how we discover music, if that's how the younger generation is doing it, then count me in.
My only thing with TikTok. Wait, before I get to that, didn't TikTok evolve from Musical.ly?
Yep.
It's still Musical.ly is still its own thing.
No, I don't think it exists at all. I think it's just TikTok.
Did TikTok buy it up?
I don't really know how it happened. Because, like, I was really not cool with, like, I didn't really care about Musical.ly. Didn't really spark my interest. I actually, like, don't love the, like, lip sync TikToks, you know? But, like, the dances I love. And I love, like what Vine was I loved, you know? But I'm not, the Musical.ly of it all, the lip syncing stuff, not for me.
I think there's going to be another, like, Soulja Boy type of thing that's going to come out through TikTok.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
I mean, if it hasn't already.
Yeah, like Soulja Boy with YouTube.
Well, the
There's gonna
Renegade dance, like...
What's that?
It's like on TikTok. Look up Renegade.
Okay.
Renegade.
All right.
Renegade. Why can't I talk? Renegade dance.
My only thing with TikTok is, I think it's great that there's a platform for artists to get discovered.
Yeah.
And there's a great podcast I listened to that kind of talked about, you know, the sounds that are emulating from TikTok. But if artists get famous or get signed and get, you know, go viral, for me, it's like, yeah, I appreciate a good one-hit wonder every now and then. There's some when you look back on, you know, certain things that just had its moment and then it's gone. But for me, I'm looking for artists that are here for the long term.
Word.
That are going to be game changers, or not necessarily, but making great music that's going to last the test of time. Not just you're here. I'm not saying everybody that's going to get popping on TikTok is just here and gone the next.
Right.
But I'm looking for great artists that make great music, no matter how challenging it is, but not just to get on and then get off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, same. I want longevity too in my artists. I think about that a lot because, like, what is happening with that in music today? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like, kind of like Eminem, for example. It's kind of like okay, so now this is where he's at. Like, is that going to happen to everyone?
I don't think so, because there's a lot of artists that are older that are still making incredible music.
True.
Jay-Z.
Mariah Carey for life.
Mariah Carey. Her last album was pretty good too.
I love her.
Yeah. There are a lot of older artists that are evolving, that are making great music.
But it's the artist.
Yeah.
It's just like who they are, what they can do, what they can like evolve with.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know. We're gonna find out. I mean, not to be like a damper, but like I really thought Juice could be so much more.
Yeah. You know, his sound is definitely 808s and heartbreak.
Yeah.
He's definitely cut from that cloth.
Totally.
And he was very influenced by a lot of emo and pop punk stuff, which is cool to have that kind of, you know, different inspiration than what, you know, people associate with Black artists.
Word.
It would have been interesting to see where he was going to go with that. It's so unfortunate that 21 years old.
That's not how that was supposed to go. No. That's not how that was supposed to go.
And you know, it's funny, like Juice WRLD's death is just, you know, part of just almost a 20-year long, you know, thing with these rappers overdosing on stuff.
What's
DJ
the 27 Club? We ain't living past 21.
No, yeah.
And that's real.
That's really fucked up. It used to be that, you know, rappers getting shot in their mid-20s. Now it's like, you know, this has always been happening. Pimp C was another one.
Well, I was listening to a podcast that was talking about Jimi Hendrix. And that was all of that too. And like...
It's the same thing.
It was exactly the same thing.
Jim Morrison, Kurt
Janis
Cobain,
Joplin.
Janis Joplin, yeah.
Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse, yeah.
Which, Amy.
Whew.
But like,
That's unfortunate.
we
Yeah.
just need to do better.
Yeah. So I think we should end on a high note. So what
Oh
do
yeah,
you,
further.
what are you listening to now that like
Yes, let's talk about
slaps?
that.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on, let me get it. Okay, so I really just want to talk about Tokyo's Revenge.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, you told me
hopefully
about-
someday out there he'll hear this and just know I'm here riding for him
Mm-hmm.
since the moment I heard. So everybody just go out and listen to Good Morning Tokyo
Mm-hmm.
and then Thought with exclamation mark. I think I love it. Like if you love like old Tyler, if you like ski mask, like you're gonna like him. And I just like you said, like when something comes in just like hard,
Yeah.
and you're like
Yeah.
hell yeah, because
Yep.
I think like I look like bubblegum and butterflies, but like I am here for something that like I can get angry. I have anger. I have emotion.
Oh yeah.
So like
of course.
drive it, whatever.
I've seen it. You don't want to see Nora mad, everybody.
Oh,
Not pleasant.
Oh my god.
It's not pleasant. You don't want to
I'm an
piss Nora off.
Aries. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
like, you're
Peter,
at
that
this-
was so funny. You did not need to experience that, but you were just like collateral
I was
damage.
frozen.
I know.
Don't ever get Nora mad. She's the nicest person in the world. Just don't
That's the
piss her off.
thing, right?
Yeah. And
Like-
you're about you. Like if you
Like,
see someone's
even
fucked
better,
up. Yeah.
Like watch when I can handle it better. Watch when I can just like manage through that anger in an even better way.
Yeah.
Like just gonna level up with that.
music-
It's what
music
makes you a
definitely
boss.
helps.
Yeah.
helps with that,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Okay. So Tokyo.
Yeah.
Right. Tokyo's Revenge. Yeah. If you ever need like boss bitch music, like Bitch from the South, Hello
Mulatto.
Mulatto, like
Let's go.
come up with Flo Milli. We love Flo Milli.
Yeah. Love Flo Milli.
Shout out to both RCA artists. So riding for them. But I love Trina. So
Love
like
Trina,
Trina is kind of like bad bitch anthem. Like if I need that momentum, besides Cardi, right? Like Cardi has a lot to really drive you and like City Girls and stuff. But Trina, like the OG, you got to boil it down. You got to go to start and you need her to be like, yeah, fuck it up.
Yep.
Fuck it up.
Yeah.
And then like that's energy I like. I also love the band Foles, and I don't know where it came from, and everyone makes fun of me, but like I love them.
Yeah.
That's something I discovered recently. Yeah, so I just like go through Spotify and I just like artists, and when I realize like I've been liking a lot of artists, then I like, go back and I'm like, okay, I need to like learn more about them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I just like boil it down to today. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's like if it's on TikTok, if it's on like Insecure, amazing soundtrack, right?
Oh, yeah.
I found a lot of
Phenomenal.
music through those types of the soundtracks. Oh, Black Panther soundtrack too. Like,
Dude.
there are soundtracks that are out there that are also influencing music, and I think that's awesome because like I'll never see this movie coming out with like Harley Quinn or whatever. Like that's just not my vibe. But the soundtrack is already phenomenal.
Megan Thee Stallion and Normani. That
Yeah, and
Diamonds.
Doja.
Yeah. Doja's on it too.
Oh, I'm like so obsessed with Doja right now. Not just her music, just like her.
Yeah.
I think she's
I don't love
so-
her music.
Really?
Don't love it.
I like it, but I think it's just like a vibe.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like something's missing. I don't know what's like. I don't know.
Well,
Musically.
maybe she'll surprise you in the future.
Maybe.
But like
Maybe.
I love her and I love her on social media.
That song with Tyga's kind of cool. Has a cool
Yeah. I
sound
like
to
that
it.
she'll like troll people. Cause like I'm kind of a troll.
Yeah, but my thing is, like Lil B, like he was very
Yeah.
funny, but some of his songs were okay, but a lot of it is kind of just like, okay, I get it, you're joking with me, but like,
Base God.
yeah, but his songs were entertaining, but like,
He's a troll.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at least like with Flocka's music was very just, I'm here to party.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like with Doja Cat, it's like, okay, I understand you're kind of laughing at the idea of making a silly troll song, but I want to be able to have something concrete and something that I can like
I
connect to
live
it.
for
I don't know.
it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something's missing for me.
Right, but yeah, and we'll see. Well,
But
I
she's
think
young.
she's
young.
she's gonna do really good things. I already just like can tell she's on her way.
Yeah.
But I would say on like a party note about discovering music, if you like something, you got to share it, right? Like
True.
we're always bouncing music off each other because like you're someone that I know you'll like listen to it unbiasedly and just like actually like see what it's about. So find yourself someone like that.
Yeah.
Find that. Even if it's like people online, Because if like that's what drives you, if you love it and maybe your friends aren't about it, maybe the people you are around aren't the same way, like you'll find someone who is. Like you'll find your people, and like that's, I think community is a big part of discovering music.
Absolutely. I think going to shows and staying for the opening act.
Yes. Please watch the opening act.
It's fucking huge. You know, and sometimes the opening act sucks, but it's a crapshoot. And sometimes the headliner sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and then you're like, but that one band.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like open your communities up.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I'd say.
Yep. Nora, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you for coming on.
Any day,
my little
anytime.
girl. Yeah. I've been looking forward to this for a while. This is perfect. Don't forget to subscribe to My Little Underground anywhere you get podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I don't care where, as long as you're listening. YouTube as well. Follow me, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It's Peter_A. Follow the show as well at MLU Pod. Nora, I know you're not really on social media anymore.
Yeah, I got nothing for you. You know, I'm your friendly face that you see around the city. I don't know.
Yeah, you're at the Bowery.
Catch me where I'm at, right? Like I'm a
love it.
troll. Like you don't want to follow me.
All right. Oh, that was fun.